Hi everyone, this is Nadia. I'm an occult specialist that uses spiritual intelligence to empower entrepreneurs into a healthy, empowered money story for a balanced life. And today I want to be covering something super important, and I'll try and keep this as short and succinct as possible. But I want to cover what's going on in this world currently and how we can relate it to ourselves. So really it comes as no surprise that it looks like the zombie apocalypse with all the sheep trying to stock up on toilet rolls, supermarket shelves are empty, people can't find diapers for their kids, people can't find food, there's rationing. I woke up to emails this morning that, local supermarkets are letting the elderly in fast, and that's completely fine, I understand, because people have no shame and they're just trying to stock up everything they can because they have been force-fed a lie that somehow they're going to catch, this thing that's going around and they're going to die. Okay, so it's not particularly the thing that's going around per se, it's more getting people's minds into a state of fear, which is what I want to discuss today. So today's topic will be King Clauneck, which I spoke with him this morning. Clauneck's thoughts on why fear is not an option and stop using it. Now, I write that in my book that I channeled with him last year, was it the year before? I do so much writing work that I often forget. So you can grab this from Amazon, and I actually write this in the first couple of chapters about psychic bondage and how fear will hold you back. You can grab it from Amazon on Kindle and paperback, and I will certainly throw the link in below for you. Now, fear is certainly never an option. When you work with the infernal, fear is just never an option. I mean, for people in life, they live in a state of fear all the time. They live in a state of very low vibrational energy constantly. It's like, I fear this, I fear that. There are so many fears that come up. Now, there was a really fantastic saying that I read by was she Russian or was she Bulgarian? I really forget, but her actual name was Nadia, so she shares a name with me, Comaneci, and she, I think she's an Olympic gold medalist. Was she an athlete or swimmer? I can't remember, but she said the only way to deal with fear is to run towards it and trample it beneath your feet, and that's very true. Now, personally, whenever I feel fear, and I don't want anybody watching this channel to think, oh well, she seems to be above fear. I'm human, and I have very many fears and very many doubts and very many insecurities that I struggle with without any shame. I say that completely on camera because there's so many people that can look at you and think, well, maybe, she's kind of just like Superwoman and never feels anything. There are a lot of things that we struggle with in silence, and we try and be dignified about them. Fear is not an option in terms of, it's not what Clauneck is saying that don't feel fear. Now, Clauneck is known to be the spirit of three things: wealth, value, merchant finance. Now, when you want to create money, or you want to create a legacy of money or money generation or whatever you want to call it, you can't be fearful, you can't be timid, you have to be bold, and now is not the time to step back and hesitate and think about things. This is not to say that you have to be rash. Boldness does not equal making rash and hasty and unequivocally stupid decisions that will cost you your mind, your soul, your spirit, your bank account, your relationships, your family, and whatever have you. What it is you carefully plan. Clauneck is huge on carefully planning and being methodical. Now, if you're working with an entity such as Belial simply doesn't care and will, if you ask him for a Ferrari, he'll probably chuck you, in the back seat, or like in the trunk or the boot of the car, and just, try and crash you into the wall and make sure it's sort of like a baptism by fire. So Belial's all out there. He's the kind of spirit you go to when you're just like, oh look, I'm just tired of everything, just break my life apart and start again. That can feel quite jarring for a lot of people, and I don't recommend that. I really do recommend working in baby steps. Now, Clauneck is very methodical, and Clauneck is always about confronting your fear. You don't run away from fear. You feel it. Feel whatever is going on inside. If you are scared to close a client, if you are scared to talk to a prospect, if you're scared to ask a woman to marry you, if you're scared to ask a man for commitment, if you're whatever, it doesn't matter. Although Clauneck usually works in the realms of finance and of wealth and of money generation, his extent of knowledge is practically limitless. He will literally answer anything, and the only way to deal with whatever we have inside is simply just come out and say it. We can never predict somebody else's reaction. We don't know how they're going to react. We don't know what they're going to say, but regret, the pain of regret is far worse than risking something. You know, what happens if you risk something? It's a no, fine, you know, it's life. My mother always says to me that, you know, it doesn't make a difference, you know, you'll just hear a no, right? That will be one other rejection that you can put on your shoulder and walk off. But what's going to really eat you and kill you inside is if you never asked in the first place, if you never said anything in the first place, and you constantly watch something go by you and it's killing you and eating you in the inside. And that's what Clauneck means, that fear is not an option. Because in life, from when we are very young, if our parents are not entrepreneurially based, or our parents are not risk takers, what they'll do is through love and through protection, they will want to hold you back constantly. And I cover that in this book again and again and again, about how society, religion, media, psychosexuality, everything wants to hold you back all the time, because your power as a human being is literally infinite. And that's the reason they've put all these blocks between you and everything, and the knowledge of yourself, which I usually say, and a lot of people comment on it on this channel, and they ask me questions, and even my own clients that deal with me. It's once you truly know who you are on the inside, good luck anybody trying to stop you or tell you who you are, because everybody in this world seems to be lost to a certain degree. It's like you've had your memory wiped and switched away from you, and now you're like trying to bump into every wall. It's like a simulation. Like, people look like the Truman Show, or what's that? The Sims, the characters in the Sims games, that they're just running around but they don't know who they are. And the moment you really know who you are, The Matrix is basically not a movie, it's a documentary, it's very low vibration. You push and blast out of it, you will look different to other people. They will think, I've never seen anything like that. It's because they're still living in low, very, very low vibrational energy, but you're much higher and you radiate that higher energy. Now, whatever higher energy means to you is very personal. A lot of people think higher energy means the light, and a lot of people's concept of the light is false light. It's about love and light and let's all have peace. This planet is not of peace, and please don't try and dream that we're probably ever going to have peace on this planet, because we are up against forces, we are up against non-human intelligences who their entire goal is to enslave humanity. So there is just no room for fear, there is no room for let me be hesitant, let me not do this. If you see something and you want it, I can understand the fear. I am human as well. We have so many fears. Anybody watching this, myself, you just have to press forward and go for it, because what fear is going to do, fear is a liar, and it's going to make you it's just going to stop you from living, I don't like using this phrase, living your best life, because it's such a cheap, cliched, hive mind type of thing, but it is exactly what it is, minus the whole cheesy stance. It's living at your highest potential is probably what I would say, or living at your divine mission is probably the actualized word that I would give it, instead of live your best life type of thing. Okay. Now, what fear doesn't do, fear doesn't inspire you, fear doesn't motivate you, fear doesn't encourage you, fear doesn't stand by you. If anything, fear is the shadow that you constantly need to look over. And if anything, if you truly sit with yourself in silence and you think, where is this fear really coming from? The chances are the fear is not even yours. The chances are it's the fear of everything. Like, people have seeded things into your consciousness, which is why I say that if you're energetically sensitive, you will be drained by other people very, very fast, such as myself. Being clairsentient psychic, I have to be very careful of who I spend my time around, what their thoughts are, what their beliefs are, because it doesn't take a long time for me to start picking up people's energy fields and it merging with mine. I have made quite a few videos on this as well, about sexual contact, and say for instance one person has lack consciousness, so it's never enough, irrespective of whatever they have on the outside. The moment you sleep with that person, you're gonna take it on. You're like a sponge. People don't understand that this whole fear mentality, people just go sleeping around with each other in society, and it just seeds into the consciousness. If you haven't done your work, and by work, your healing work, your emotional work, your trauma work, all of us have it. Nobody is immune to this. I don't want someone to say, oh, well, I had a perfect childhood, I don't have trauma. Trust me, even if you had a very nice childhood, you still have inherited stuff from your parents and things like 30, 50 generations back, because they did not have the tools to clear themselves up, but you do, and that's your power. You do have the tools to keep clearing until you're at a point where you're like, this is really, really good. I'm happy where I'm at. What's the next stage? Because truly, when you break out of this fear thing, fear stops you. Fear constantly holds you back. What if we've got all these things, these doubts, these insecurities, these pains that happen inside us? But when you truly ask yourself, you know what, how is this fear holding me back? What can I do to overcome it? You're gonna ask yourself some pretty heavy questions that come around under those two questions. And why are you gonna do that? Because society has got to a point where they just want to ask the fluffy stuff all the time, like, oh yes, don't worry. You know, I was having a conversation with a lady, I attend her event, shout out if you're watching this, you know who you are, and we were just talking about all the fluffy stuff, like, I'm giving an example of the conversation. So there's a lot of business women, they have created these movements and these tribes, but it's all fluff. In reality, it's bullshit, because it does not hold power, irrespective of whatever money they've made, and I know a lot of them are millionaires, irrespective of whatever command or reach or whatever it is, they lack the agency, they lack the knowledge, they lack the rank, they lack the power, the limitless power inside themselves to truly make an impact on others. They are making an impact by being a 20 mil, you know, those little whiskey shots that you take. That's the kind of impact they're making. But the impact you want to make through watching Spartanite and through allowing Spartanite to walk through you is this limitless ocean. It's so deep that once you look at the Pacific and you walk on those shallow waters, you think, how deep does this actually go? And the point is that you really want to enjoy yourself with depth, with serenity, with power, and all the wonderful things that this life can give you. But you don't enjoy those nice things if you keep swimming in the kiddie pool, or the little paddling pool, as I call it. Lots of people are running and they're stuck in stuck consciousness. They're stuck on being stuck, if that makes sense. And when you're stuck on being stuck, you will constantly have fear in your mentality. You'll have the fear of, let me hold on to this because I don't know what else is coming. The moment you start to feel, let me hold on to this, what else is coming, is the time you need to slowly start releasing, because if you don't, it gets ugly. Like, we're in some really funny times where businesses are like, well, should we keep spending ad spend on marketing? The answer is yes, 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 yes. Don't ever stop your outbound marketing. Don't do anything. Just keep going, because even in the times where it kind of reminds me of the Californian gold rush, where, you know, people were trying to find gold and this, that. Levi's, you know, the jeans company made so much because they were selling those jeans to the men that were going looking for it. People were selling them shovels to dig. So always remember, you can always be on the right side of something. It sort of, it looks at your mentality and what you're really looking at. And when you're in fear and you're constantly on this low vibrational energy, it's very easy to seed things into your mind. The media, religion, news, government. I mean, the media is just the worst offender, basically. Just stop watching this bullshit. Stop trying to kill yourself, and stop trying to listen to all this fear. If you're mentally immune to stuff, it doesn't matter how much it's around you. It will never ever affect you, because you don't let the fear creep and seed into the mind. I also covered this on this channel. I think it was a couple of months ago. I did a video on Clauneck and the iron ring mentality, and when you hold the iron ring mentality really strong, where you are simply disinterested to lose and you don't care about losing, winning will be your only option, which is what I cover in this. So I hope that's helped, and I hope that's given everybody watching this tons of clarity when it comes to fear. That fear is a liar, and you just have to feel the fear inside you and do it anyway. Danger is another thing. Danger is something you need to run fast, quick, okay? But fear is something, fear, it can be a gift, because it can lead to danger if something's not right, you know it. But fear, irrational fear, is not only yours. It can come from ancestral lineages, it can come from generational lineages, it can come from people you've slept with and you've not spiritually cleaned. If you've not cut your cords and you've slept with somebody spiritually and you've not cleaned your aura, that person's energy is still in your field, and that can be enough to repel the right people from you. So that's food for thought for anybody watching this, and I would really endeavor anybody that's red winning to leave their comments in the section below, and I'd really love to hear your thoughts about how you personally are overcoming fear and what challenges you feel that I can help you with. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon with more Clauneck, and also people have requested Duchess Bune and lots of other things, other cool like topics that I want to cover on this channel. Take care. I hope to see you soon. Bye.